Okay, it's Phil here. I was just gonna make a really quick video about what I've been doing this past week because, try as I might, I couldn't really make a GIF out of the stuff that I've been doing, and I do want to have some kind of visual reminder of, hey, I'm actually doing stuff in the forums. I think last time I posted, I was saying that I was working on the arena control and building control for building levels, so that the player can actually like choose which buildings they want to work on and all that kind of stuff. Turns out that like trying to do that in my old project, so this is Game Maker Studio 2 or Game Maker 2, I don't think they actually call it Game Maker Studio 2. I don't know, I had a lot of stuff in here and like some of it was left over from working on it during the Wizard Jam and all that kind of stuff. So, like a lot of problem-solving stuff, I tend to break out into just a separate project. So I started out a separate project, which was just to make the logic of the building system. So I ended up going with the DS Grid data structure, grid data structure that's present in GameMaker. Grids are very similar to arrays, except that you can do stuff like shuffling them and searching for stuff a lot easier, in my mind. Anyway, I'm not a professional programmer, so stuff like DS Grid and all that kind of stuff does, it makes it a lot easier for me to, I don't know, think about logically. That turned out to be like the secret to kind of cracking it, was actually making it into a new little mini project for myself, rather than trying to go through, like you can see here, like I've got like a lot of resources and stuff like that, and I was trying to fit it in there, and I was getting confused between all the stuff that I already had in there and like how, because when you're trying to just make a game from scratch, you tend to put in like kind of temporary structures in there. And for whatever reason, the temporary structures that I had in there were kind of leading me astray with regards to how to actually solve the problem of getting stuff done. Whoa, something's just started in the background there. I think that was Nick streaming, getting hosted by Rylan. Anyway, so this is what I have. I'll just do a really quick run through of what happens. As you can see, making a GIF out of this was not was not great. This up here is my arena control object. It'll usually be invisible, obviously, because I don't really need it to be visible, but I'm more of a visible debugger slash programmer, so I like to print out different variables and stuff so that I can actually analyze what's happening. So what the structure and like the point of this whole thing is to basically build up a series of levels like into a pool, and then generate from that pool a series of random levels that the player will be building to a schedule. So imagine like, you're building up a large city block or something like that. You have a schedule to do this building, then this building, then this building, then this building. So the schedule gets set from the start of the game, and it's completely randomized, and it'll be kind of consecutive, like getting harder and harder as it kind of moves on. I still have to write the rules for that, but that's actually not that hard compared to just getting the whole structure in place first. So at the moment, I've just got 3 different types of buildings: building 1, building 2, building 3. The only difference between them is that they have more HP or BP, which is what I'm using to refer to building points. It's usually dumb. Anyway, so what the program does is it'll present the player with X amount of buildings that they need to build. This will escalate over time so that the player has more buildings that they need to build before the end of each day, or swing, I guess. At the moment, it's just 2 buildings all the time because I'm just testing. What they'll do is they'll use their little player to click on one. So here you've got building 1 and building 2, or 0 and 1 because we're in data structure land and things index from 0. And this is the schedule up here. So you can tell from this that this will be a type building 3 and this will be a type building 2. So pretending that the player has clicked into the building, and then also pretending that the player is moving around and like doing damage, but not damage, building up the building. At the moment, the BP goes from 30 to 0, or X down to 0 because it's still in the mindset of damage, but it will be building up in the future. So pretending that I'm the player and I'm doing stuff to this building to make it get built. Once it hits complete, or 0 in this case, the player exits the arena, goes back to the building select. So you can see that the number 3 building that was at the top of this list has now gone. And this works, and it kind of shoves everything else down and starts and spawns a new one. This is now will be a building 2, as you can see, because it's at the top. Player works on it, goes back to the arena select screen. That 2 is now complete, so it moves off and continue on. So that's building 1. That'll be a building 1. So, and you can see that you're completing the buildings as you go, and they're getting replaced. Now, if the player, for whatever reason, doesn't finish the building, so say we take these down to 20 and 10, if they go back to them, it retains that level of completeness. The only thing that I really want to do extra to this is to make sure that the buildings are actually getting completed and they retain representation. So rather than replacing these with different buildings, so, you know, completing that one and then replacing it with another building, I would want to keep some visual indication that the buildings had been completed. That's about it, really, for the moment. For whatever reason, it took me a long time to get the structure for this sorted out. As you can see, there's not actually that much code involved in it. You've pretty much just got this arena control object. You've got the arena icon objects, which don't really do very much either. And then you've got the buildings themselves, which actually do sweet bugger all. So in the end, it actually ended up being a really simple problem to solve, but for whatever reason, it took me breaking out of this massive project file that I have going for the entire game, which includes all the stuff like player movement and all that kind of thing, and instead moving it into this just little mini project, and it seemed to help a lot. So yeah, maybe a tip for other people. If you can, I don't know how easy it is with other IDEs, but with GameMaker, it is extraordinarily easy to just go and make another project, debug and test in that, and then go. And now, obviously, the challenge for me now is to take this and chuck it back into my main project, and that can be a bit painful, especially when, you know, you have already got variables for, so say arenas to schedule. I might already have a variable for that in my other project. I'm just going to need to kind of match them up a little bit. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been working on. I don't expect anyone to watch this, but it's for my own posterity, and if anyone does, hopefully it helps you to maybe try and break out of your own projects to solve some problems. Anyway, time to do some more work on this and like get them to mesh. See yous.